For those who are brand new to my YouTube channel, so today I want to share with you my story, and this story might have at least two main parts, and it's going to give you the lesson about your dreams and the lesson about green card lottery, because many of you have applied the DV lottery and didn't get, and some of you are very upset. Some of you are still motivated. They are planning to apply for the next DV lottery. I know there are people who have applied the DV lottery. This maybe is their 7th year to apply and they haven't won. There are some people, this is their 2nd time to apply for the DV lottery and they haven't won. So some, they're upset. They say, I'm not going to apply. I'm wasting my time. And I've explained to you in one of the videos which I recently posted about how it's complicated and difficult to win the DV lottery, but it doesn't mean that you have to quit, you have to stop. Myself, I'm among the people in your shoes. I was in your shoes at one time of my life. I applied the DV lottery for more than 5 years in different years. I didn't win the DV lottery. But how did I come to end up having green card and later become the citizen of the United States of America? This story will be able to inspire you. This story will be able to give you some little bit of the lesson and advising you on how you can keep your dreams alive. Whether your dreams will be to come to America, going to Norway, going to Finland, going to England, going to Canada, New Zealand, Australia, going to China, going to Ivory Coast, going to Ghana, whatever country you want to go, or even within your country, to be able to reach your dreams. This is the purpose of the story. But for those who do not know me, my name is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, and you're welcome to my YouTube channel, which is EBM Scholars Channel. Before I continue, I would like to ask you one big favor from you, and the favor is to subscribe to my YouTube channel, but also remember to share these videos to others. In this particular channel, we are talking various things, but overall is an educative channel which using very normal language, not cussing words. Is a channel where you can be able to share a channel or videos with your family, your father, your mother, your siblings, without being fearing what will be the type of the content. So the content is about immigration, the content is about education scholarships, the content is about writing and publishing books and to put them on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, in Lulu and various other platforms, talking about the weight loss and the different ways on how you can be able to get jobs, to do various decisions in your life and to be able to succeed, and by showing what are working to most of the people and how can you use those kind of examples to personalize to your particular cases. So behind me I have two flags. There is a flag of Tanzania and there is a flag of the United States. This is where I'm from. I was born and raised in Tanzania, and in 2008 I managed to come to America. So how did I first manage to come to America, and how did I manage to keep my dreams alive? So it didn't just start like, okay, I'm just at the university, okay, so I want to find different ways because I don't have a job, so I want to go to America. For my case, it might be a little bit different from many people. I'm not that very old, so in case you didn't know, this white hair is not because I'm old, it's because just you inherit it from your parents. So I was born in 1981, so I'm not that old. So it's just I'm still, yeah, a little bit from another generation. I can simply say the generation of not.com, the generation where we didn't have cell phone, we didn't have all this social media back at the time we are growing up. So while I was in the 5th grade, standard 5, if I can simply say for other people who are using the concept of standards. So I was in primary school or elementary school, standard 5 or 5th grade. That was in 1994, 1995. So I was between the age of 13, 14, around that time. That is the time I was in 5th grade. So at that time, there are a couple of things going on around the world. And those kind of things a little bit motivated me to have the dream on one day of my life, I will be able to go to America. So one of the things which happened at that time, there was one gentleman who was a medical doctor. That medical doctor, I think he started in one of the Asian countries. I don't know whether it was the Philippines, whether it was Japan, China. I do not know, because at that time we didn't have much of the exposure. So we were not able to distinguish whether this one is from South Korea, this person is from Japan, this one is from China, this one is from Philippines. We didn't know, or this one from Nepal. We didn't have those kind of distinction. We are still very key, very young at that age. There was no internet at that time. We didn't have that access. us. We didn't have the television, because Tanzania at that time was still at the just getting out of the what we call socialism or ujamaa, if we use a Swahili word for that. So still we are in that kind of growing up in that kind of lifestyle. So, but how did I come? You don't have this kind of exposure to have the dream like I will be going to live in America. So that medical doctor had a very big impact, and I still remember his name. His name is Dr. Dangwa. I don't know where he is at the moment. So when he came back to my hometown is called Kigoma. Kigoma is a very small town in Tanzania, in the western part of Tanzania, nearby the deepest lake in the world, Lake Tanganyika. So when the doctor came back, he came back with his wife. He married someone from the country he was studying his medical school. So when he came back, he was kind of like a role model. Everybody, it was very strange at the time to see someone is having interracial relationship back in 1990s. So, oh, this guy is married to someone from, and we didn't know whether to distinguish between Caucasian, Asian, whatever. Just assume all are white. So we were still kids. So, okay, this guy is very educated. This guy is having a person marrying another person. So it was just like everybody, okay, this is cool to marry someone from another culture. So from that moment, I said at one time of my life, I will go to study in first world countries. And for me, America was my target. So that is when I said I will go to study in America. And if I go to study in America, I will stay there. I will get a good job there. I will have a family over there. That was my goal. At that time, everybody would say, oh, these are kids' mindset. You cannot be able to do that one. How do you go there? You are from poor family. You are not a rich family, basically. And for my family, we are 13 children. I'm number 11 out of 13. So there is no way your father will pay for you to go to study in America. So that is to start with. So from primary school, there are other factors I'm not going to explain everything. Most of those ones I've been explaining in my book. This one, chapter 1 is called the decision year, where I've been able to explain how it works on my situation. So this is called the decision year 1994, 1995, that 3 things happened. One of those things was to have experience to know about Dr. Dangwa and his personal life, and how that one contributed to my personal life. So I want to fast forward. I don't want just to talk about those kind of years, but if I fast forward, going to secondary school or junior high school, going to high school, that was my plan. Going, study hard, get good grades. So for me, I knew the only one way to come to America is through education, because my father, I knew, was not going to pay for me because doesn't have that money, and I didn't know any other way. I didn't know about green card. It was not there, the lottery thing. I didn't know anything. So for me, education was the number one priority, number one thing to make sure that I come to America. So, and I had to avoid. I didn't know that I'm avoiding at the beginning, but the more I was going to high school, going to the university, especially from high school, after finishing my junior high school or ordinary secondary school, about to go to high school, my plan is I don't want to jeopardize my entire life. So I avoided any way of things which will be able to make sure that I'm not going to reach my dream. And one of those things for me, I assume dating anybody will not take me in a good place. So for me, like dating anybody, I don't want someone to be pregnant. I don't want someone to feel that, okay, I fall in love. Okay, this is my entire life. Okay, I mean, this woman is just making me like feel the New York is in Tanzania. No. So if you go to ask any person in secondary school, in high school, whatever, you go to the university, they know that I didn't want to date anybody because I didn't want to jeopardize my plan to go to America. You might have your own other ways on how it can be able to work better for you, but those are some of the things which worked better for me. So if those were better for me, I don't say you have to stop dating, you stop to drink, you stop doing whatever. Find things which work for you, but those things were for me. So for me, number one, because I knew you might fall in love to the extent that, okay, so if I go there, okay, how can I leave my heart here? I didn't want to have any commitment, because no matter how much I love you, if the time comes to come to America, I get my bag, I come to America, and I will start my family here. So I don't want to have the feeling later, oh, I've betrayed someone, I promised someone. I don't have to have any commitment to anybody. My commitment was my brain, my academics. So I did it very well in school for the purpose of getting good GPA. So while I was finishing high school, going to first year of college at the University of Dar es Salaam to do my bachelor degree, that is the time when I was like very serious considering to go to Europe or going to America. But I knew America was very difficult, so I had to find a way to go through Europe and come to America. So I was open-minded, different countries I can be able to go, but in the end, the final destination for my entire life, obviously, is the United States of America. That was my entire goal. So what I did was, while I finished high school, that is the time, 2004, when I started like opening my first email address. I finished high school, I was like 21, 22, whatever, something like that. So I started like learning to use email, using internet slowly, just like spending most of my time on the internet, looking for people, looking for different ways on how I can be able to go. When I went to the university for my bachelor degree in 2005, I went to find this is what we call the scholarship consultants. It was in Dar es Salaam. The money I was given for the university, the first money, like pocket or whatever, the money were given for food and the accommodation, I took half of it and paid the scholarship consultant. And I'll go to explain why, for me, I don't like to take someone's money. It has to do with what I've been experiencing. So the scholarship consultant, for bachelor degree, they didn't tell me that how complicated it is to get a bachelor degree, or almost there are no bachelor degree scholarships in general in America or Europe for people from developing countries. They didn't tell me that. So what they said, oh, we are going to give you all this kind of information. You are going to give you 5 scholarships if you pay, maybe it was $100, something like that. So I paid. What they did was, they applied for university back in the time, because there was not much of the bigger internet. So the universities, they were sending the prospectus. So they send prospectus with your name. So you are so excited. Okay, this is Bowling Green University from Ohio. This is kind of whatever, different kind of university. So you are opening those. They have your name. But what they didn't tell you, they were talking about financial aid for them. They were saying, oh, if you go to America, you'll be allowed to work for that case. That is a scholarship. That's not a scholarship. That is part of the law that if you're international students, you're allowed to work 20 hours per week. That was not a scholarship. So they took my money and they came to realize that that was not the case. And after starting learning, I came to realize that, okay, scholarship for bachelor's degree is near impossible. It's there, but it's almost near impossible. So I continued to do my bachelor degree, but studying so hard, getting higher GPA. While I was in the same first year, my brother, who is now a professor, they are twins, but one of my brother who is a professor now, but back in then, he got a scholarship to go to study in Norway at Oslo University through what we call quota scheme scholarship. So I saw his prospectus. So I learned about quota scheme and everything. So what I did was, I used the when I was about to go to the second year, I used another money which I was given and put the internet in my own room. So I was using all the time to be searching for all those kind of information. So for me, it was purely academic way on how I can be able to come here. So no matter, like down the road, I'm going to explain to you, no matter later, at that time, I was starting like knowing that there will be, I mean, it was not green card, I didn't know at that time, but there might be other ways. You might get one way, another way, maybe a friend can invite you. I didn't care about all other ways. Number one, a surest guarantee of way for me, it was through education. That's why while I was in first year, going to the second year, that is when I opened my scholarship blog. 2007 to be exact, 2006 going to 2007 is when I opened my scholarship blog. And my blog was specifically about YouTube, I mean about scholarships on information, how to go to study in Europe, how to go to study in America and other countries. But people didn't believe them, because if they are true, why are you still here? So for me, that was my belief. Yes, I had a pen pause. Even some, they wanted to invite me to visit there. But I knew all those are short ways of coming here, but I cannot depend much on those one. So for me, it was focused about education, making sure that I get very good GPA, at least minimum 3.5 out of 5 GPA, which is upper secondary class going up. I came to get very higher than that, but the minimum I would say, like, I have to get good GPA so that I can be able to apply. So if you can learn from me, and for those people who have bachelor degree, first of all, or they are now at the university, I advise you, yes, you can apply for the DV lottery, but number one priority to you has to be the ways which you can control. DV lottery, you cannot control DV lottery. Why? Because you apply, and there are so many people applying, you do not know what you can be able to control. But for me, by scholarship, one, I can control, I can apply even 100 universities. I can control how many universities I want to apply. I can control my GPA, I can control the statement of purpose, I can control anything I'm going to submit. So I have a possibility, higher chances of getting scholarships than getting the way of through lottery. So if I can fast forward a little bit further, I came to get the first scholarship. While I was in the second year, going to the third year, I got a scholarship. The scholarship to come to teach Swahili language here in America. And this is a it's called a Fulbright scholarship. Within Fulbright, there are so many categories. Each country has a Fulbright program. It was named after James William Fulbright because there are Fulbright for teachers. So this one is people coming to teach a foreign language and their culture. So some people from Tanzania and Kenya, they come to teach Swahili. Someone maybe from China is coming to teach Chinese. Someone from Nigeria is coming to teach the languages in Nigeria. Someone from Cameroon, Ghana, you come to teach your native languages in America. You teach at the university level, as long as you have a bachelor degree, first of all. So for me, I applied that one, and then I got it. So while I was at the University of Dar es Salaam, my first semester of final year, of third year, I already know I'm coming to America. I was doing my final years on the second semester in 2008, around May. I already know I'm going to America. I'm going to Marshall University in West Virginia, Huntington City in West Virginia. I'll be teaching this program for one full academic year. So that's how I was determined. Everything I prepared myself. Make sure you get good grades. Not make sure you're not going to mess up. Make sure you have all the information about how you can be able to succeed. They paid off while I was a student. So for me, I'm writing the final exam. I have an offer. Full confirmed. You are going to Marshall University, and your orientation, 1 week orientation, will be at Stanford in California. I'm finishing my exams this week. It was on 28th of May. The first week of June, we are called at the US Embassy in Dar es Salaam to have a goodbye from the US Ambassador, Mark Green, back then. So, for me, I just finished university. The same week I'm going to have the special lunch, dinner, whatever, with the ambassador to say goodbye. And I was waiting 1 month, 2 months to fly to come to America. So I got from the university straight to America. So don't come here and say it was just the luck. No, it was all those years of preparation since I was in 5th grade, preparing my mindset to come to America. So this is part 1 of this video, and I'm going to explain to you about part 2 of this video. Please remember to subscribe and share this video to others while we are continuing with part 2 after arriving in America.